How's it going, ladies and Bruce's up, Bobby Sixkilla, and welcome back to the letter. I don't think I was ready for what we were in store for from the last one, but I think I'm in a better place now. I'm more prepared for what I'm expecting now. Let's continue the story, shall we? And I'll try to keep my cool this time. Suddenly, Rose nudges me with her elbow. We'll check with our supervisor. Those few moments have given me enough time to clear my head of any nervousness or confusion clouding it.
It is, ma'am, but we weren't aware the mansion has already been sold.
We were trying to sell the bloody thing.
What do you mean?
I almost flinch when she turns her gaze on me, but I stand my ground. Besides, it isn't like I haven't dealt with awkward situations like this before. She's just a really intimidating lady. I may screw up at times, but that doesn't mean I haven't learned a thing or two in the 5 years that I've worked in the business.
The mansion is indeed for sale, ma'am. Today's the open house, in fact. However, we haven't heard anything from the higher-ups that a deal has already been closed for this particular property. If you'd like, my co-agent and me can check with them right now.
She nods, seemingly in deep thought after I finished. She appears to be a reasonable person anyway. Given the proper explanation, she'd surely understand.
I thought something looked odd. Excuse me, I need to call my secretary.
Okay.
Thank you for your assistance, Miss Santos.
With a slight wave of her hand, she leaves us. That seems to be the end of it. Both Rose and I breathe a sigh of relief. Disaster averted. Maybe. I also don't miss the thumbs up she gives me for doing a good job. I can't help but swell with pride. Still, I've already prepared myself to dial the number to our Luxborn office and check, even if she didn't ask for it. I'll be very frustrated if for some reason something is already decided without my or Rose's knowledge. There's a whole new level of unfair. Maybe working hard on this. Moments later, Miss McCullough returns, looking a little frustrated, but with an apology clear in her face. I feel a little sorry for having to go through all this trouble.
There seems to have been a little misunderstanding with my client. If you'll allow it, I'd like to stay and wait for them here. I was informed they'll be dropping by for the open house today. I figured it'd be a waste to just leave after that long drive. I might as well meet him here.
Certainly. You could stay at the parlor in the meantime, ma'am. I'm sure it won't be long before our guests arrive. And, Isabella? I left a few documents in my car. You know where I keep those. Can you please get it for me?
Rose takes a glance at her wristwatch before tossing me a set of keys.
And hurry! We've still got a few minutes to double-check those papers.
Okay, got...
The two of them disappear behind the parlor's door. The departure brings with it a stillness to keep me company, neither welcoming nor comforting. Alone like this, it's impossible not to think of what really happened. I wish the memory isn't as elusive as it normally is. Then again, Rose already said that she didn't receive any calls from me. It was just paranoia? A temporary lapse after having heard all those tales about this place? Probably. I wanted to think of it as such. Dude, we've seen the monster, we fell down the stairs. Shit's gone real pear-shaped already and we've only just got here. Better so I can work in peace. Except a small part of my mind begs to differ. And if I'm going to be completely honest with myself, I want nothing more than to leave this place as soon as possible. I don't know what's in this house, and I don't want to know. The keys Rose just handed me dig into my palm, its jagged edges creating shallow ridges on my skin from how hard I'm clutching it. It's a reminder of what I still need to do and why I've taken this job in the first place. Hugging my blazer close to my body, I exit the house to get what Rose has asked of me. Just a few more hours, Isabella. Sell the house, get the money, or just leave. Whatever. A flock of people have already gathered in the mansion's front yard by the time we officially open the doors. I'm not sure whether I should feel baffled or underdressed, standing in their presence. Men and women of wealth and status, all dressed to the nines in fancy suits and lovely dresses of varying colours, compose the medium-sized crowd. Their necks, arms and fingers are adorned with silver and gold, glinting in the afternoon sun. Some even have ridiculously fancy feathered hats on their head. I really hope there aren't any magpies living nearby like in the stories. Those birds will have a field day in us. They're murmuring among themselves, looking at the estate's facade appraisingly, with some arguing about whose mansion has the superior architecture. But most of it stops as Rose calls for their attention. They don't look too pleased at being ordered around, but what can they do about it?
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Rose Cooper, and this is my partner, Isabella Santos. We'll be taking a tour of the mansion in 2 groups. Please make sure you filled up our sign-in forms before joining a specific group.
Those who want to look around the first floor, please follow my partner. I'll be guiding the ones who wish to see the ground floor.
You know, it might be a good side hustle to just, if you're not a rich person, like myself, you could just go to fancy houses for open homes and just chill out in them. That'd be pretty cool. Hearing this, a few wander to me. They're mostly old ladies who seem daunted at the idea of climbing all those stairs. Need to install an elevator. Miss McCullough also joins our group. But what really catches my eye is the elegantly dressed pair she approaches.
It's so nice to finally meet you! When Chief Inspector Lee mentioned that a famous interior designer is in town, I knew I had to get you!
Your confidence in my skills is very flattering, ma'am.
I'm sure you won't disappoint, Marianne.
Oh, you know each other?
Not at all, ma'am.
You mentioned something about a Marianne on our way here, darling?
Oh, yes, I think I did.
They must be the clients she was talking about. I might have seen their faces somewhere before, some magazine or the television. I can't quite remember. But then again, most of our guests have likely ended up on the news, one way or another. I won't be surprised if these two already have. For people who are popular, though, they aren't as dressed as loudly as the others. And in their simplicity, the couple stands out. The woman in particular is stunning enough to turn heads of most people in my group, especially the men with wandering eyes. The guy standing beside her doesn't seem to mind, though. And if I'm going to be a bit bolder with my assumptions, I'd say he's basking in the attention. Both of them, in fact. I think they are brother and sister, if it wasn't for the public display of affection. The matching rings on their fingers just cement the fact that they are indeed a couple. Whatever. Couple or not, what's important is we get the deal closed, before the current owners can even think about cancelling the listing. I just hope one of the people in my or Rose's group is brave and generous enough to buy the mansion. And so, with papers in hand, they lead the way. When they are whispering among themselves, going ooh or ah over one thing or another, they ask questions. From how the restoration process went to the history of the place, I answer them all. More than happy to talk about the art pieces and architecture mostly. However, I'm careful not to mention anything about the urban legend. Not good material for sales talk, even if the entire population of Luxbourne knows about it.
Some of the furnishings here are actually the 17th century originals, all of which have undergone a painstaking restoration process just to return its original beauty.
Even the glass thing. Colorful ones. Oh, I don't know, but you get the idea, I hope.
Stained glass window?
Especially that one, ma'am. It is said to be a gift commissioned by the fiancée of Lady Charlotte Ermengarde. The mansion's current owners have specifically requested that the restoration crew take great care in handling it. It's a priceless work of art and the most distinctive feature of the mansion.
By the time I've stopped talking, her attention is already elsewhere.
Isn't this place wonderful, darling? I told you it's not a total waste of your time.
I was telling her about the stained glass window, but it turned out she had ADD and she's like running around the mansion.
I don't know. Isn't it a bit too small? We might have to break a wall down to have more room.
Well, I think it is just right. Don't you think so, Marianne?
It is splendid, ma'am. But isn't it a little too early to make plans when no deal has been signed yet?
Never mind that. It isn't going to be a problem. We've got a wonderful legal team to handle everything. Start taking notes, though. I think I've got a few things I want changed before we move in.
The rest of their conversation gets lost in the chatter of our companions. We're so worried about selling the house, it sounds like it's a given. Like, that lady is buying this house. No matter what. I don't want to make any assumptions yet, but their sheer interest is enough to give me some semblance of hope. Oh, please, please, please let these guys be the one. Eventually our group reaches the kitchen. Much like the rest of the house, a great deal of effort has been put into retaining the room's classical appeal. The open hearth at the end of the room in particular looks amazing, like the ones I've only seen in fairy tale books. And mad props to the cleaning crew, that is a beautiful kitchen. Seriously, after overhearing hundreds of their complaints about the soot and tar staining the bricks, and how much of a pain in the ass cleaning this will be, they still managed to pull this off. I'll make it look presentable at least.
The highlight of the room, however, is what's underneath this hatch here.
Wine cellar?
Oh, don't say anything yet. An underground wine cellar.
This is the first time the guy in grey speaks up, Mr. Luke Wright. My memory supplies from the forms they signed earlier. His sudden attentiveness catches me off guard. Since the start of the tour, only his wife has shown any form of genuine interest in the place. But this time something lights up in his eyes at the mention of the Undercroft. What's so interesting about a basement? I really don't understand rich people sometimes. That's where you hide the bodies. Come on. Right now, he just gives me the impression of a child who has just seen what he absolutely wants for Christmas. I've always found it cute whenever I see children act that way, my younger siblings especially. On a grown man, it's almost funny.
Yes, sir. It could house around 7,000 to 11,000 bottles of wine.
Whoa.
Truly. And the room, how was it built?
The bricks that were used to build the cellar have been carefully picked for the purpose of maintaining and preserving a constant temperature and humidity in the room. It's a good place to keep your private collection in if you have one, sir.
It keeps the corks in good condition.
Oh, love. Didn't you say before that you wanted to make your own personal vineyard? Perhaps you could start one here.
You know we're going to need space for that, darling.
And this isn't big enough?
If it's space you're worried about, sir, the Ermengarde mansion sits on a 46-acre lot. There's plenty of room for it. We were told that the original owners had a horse stable built here before, too.
46 acres, quite a bit. There's contemplative expression on Mr. Wright's face, but he doesn't say anything further. His wife, however, seems really pleased that he has started to show interest, if only a little. I smile to myself. I may not completely understand how these people's minds work, but I sure as hell know how to spot a buyer with sincere interest. Score. I can't wait to tell Rose. The rest of the tour goes by without a hitch. After more than half an hour, we were able to cover almost every room in the ground floor, and are heading up to the parlour. Funny, the first time BRC had us survey the property, I kept complaining to Rose how big it is. Now I can't even bring myself to care, no matter how much my feet hurt. How can it take half an hour to cover the ground floor? How big is this place? Maybe this is just my excitement over a possible sale. When we reach the parlour, however, an odd feeling washes over me. It starts off as small goosebumps on my skin, a feeling of being watched intently. Whispers in my ear and shadows dancing, lurking in the corner of my vision. Dark silhouettes that are gone when I turn to look. A chill settles down my spine, making me feel sick, and I start to break out in a cold sweat. I can't do this. I need to sit down for a moment. The old ladies in the group have been requesting for a break anyway. If I can just...
Excuse me? Everyone? We will be taking a 15-minute rest here before we visit the first floor. In the meantime, please help yourselves to the refreshments and snacks we prepared. If anyone has any questions, feel free to approach me. I'd be happy to help you.
I let them sit while I retreat to a corner to recover. It's not what you think. Don't think about it. It's not what you think. I probably just caught Becca's cold. Don't think about it. I left them alone for a good while, the same words spilling out of my lips in a silent prayer, until a hand taps my shoulder.
Hello, you there?
Yes, ma'am?
Oh, look at you. Having to show a group around a mansion this big must be exhausting.
Not a problem, ma'am. I'm just doing my job.
What a hard worker. Anyway, Isabel, right?
Isabella, actually. But yes, what can I help you with, ma'am, right?
Please, just Hannah. Call me Hannah. I just wanted to ask, how soon are we able to move in?
My brain completely stops. The sick feeling plaguing me is suddenly gone, replaced by utter bewilderment. Is this a joke? She looks at me expectantly as I struggle to come up with an answer.
Wait, ma'am, you see, but we haven't even negotiated a price yet, ma'am. We haven't even finished touring the rest of the mansion. A sale would be great and all, but...
She stops me from speaking any further and puts a hand on my shoulder. For a moment, with her tight smile, she looks as if she'd just tasted a particularly sour lemon.
Oh, please, sweetie, don't insult me. Money is not a problem. And, just between you and me, this place is better off with us than with some old lady who'll probably just fill it up with cats.
I personally don't think there's anything wrong with having cats here, ma'am Hannah. I'm sure there's more than enough space here if you want pets.
Perhaps I'm not still feeling well, but really, what's wrong with cats? More importantly, why is she talking about moving in already?
Well, I'm more of a dog person. But you see, this is going to be a gift to my darling. It's going to be our anniversary soon, and it would be so wonderful if you can secure its purchase for us. Why, I can even offer something extra if you help us out with the paperwork.
We actually have a process for this, ma'am. I don't really think that would be necessary or appropriate.
And just what are you two lovely ladies talking about here? leaving me and our lovely interior designer to talk here by ourselves. What would the people think, darling?
Oh, it's just small talk, love. I was asking if she could help me with the paperwork.
I try not to wince when her nails dig into my shoulder. I can't help but see an imploring look at Miss McCullough, who only gives me an apologetic smile and a shrug.
Yeah, I can give you a fact sheet and a form to fill out.
She wastes no time taking the papers from my hand and shuffles through the bunch. Oh man, Rose is gonna be so angry at me for letting you do that.
Wonderful. And Marianne, I'd really love to talk to you about those changes. You took some notes earlier, yes?
I did, Mom. But I really hope that this time...
Excellent. Hopefully you can help us out too, Isabel.
Isabella.
Right. It's a lovely name, Isabel.
Whoa, is that asserting your dominance? It's Isabella. Yeah, that's nice, Isabel. Fuck you, lady.
It's Isabella.
Yes, that's great. We'll be more than happy to put in a good word to your superiors too, and what's this?
A look of confusion and disgust appears on her face. Turning to her husband, he merely shrugs in reply.
That's, an interesting work of art. Not to my taste, though. I'm sorry.
Darling, Buttercup, art is a complete overstatement for this garbage. It looks like a cheap prop from a D-list horror film.
Shush, love. Let the girl do what she pleases with, what do they call this? Oh, forget about it. At the very least, it's not as dreadful as the one art exhibit I was forced to attend last month. You should have seen it, Marianne. Even you would have been appalled.
Even you?
But I'm sure you'll know what to do with our walls once we get started.
I highly doubt it is as bad as you say, Ma'am. Nevertheless, you can be assured that my team will only pick whatever suits your tastes. Nothing of this chain letter sort, of course. It has to always work with a palette.
I'm quite sure chain letters these days don't come in this form.
No, they're usually emails. It's my turn to be puzzled. What do they mean? Or hasn't I double-checked everything? It's that letter you picked up, you stupid lady. Are the papers I handed not enough? I wanted to ask what I did wrong. I don't want to mess this up. But with the way Ma'am Hannah is leading the conversation, I'm afraid that's exactly what will happen if I do interrupt her.
That's good to hear. See, darling, isn't she an absolute delight to work with? I can't wait to see how this place will look when she's done with it.
Oh, you don't have to tell me that, Buttercup.
A smile is back in her face when she turns to me and hands me a strange piece of paper.
I would still put it away if I were you, though. Otherwise, people might get the wrong impression. Anyway, as I was saying...
I didn't hear the rest of what she says after that. I can only stare down at the paper, at the letter in my hands. The sides crinkle in my grip and my breathing grows labored. Dread quickly fills my mind.
Isabella? Isabella? Are you alright? You're looking pale.
I didn't even notice when Rose's group joined us in the parlor. I wanted nothing more than to say, no, I'm not alright. I want to leave this place. Because I remember everything as clear as day. This letter and that woman in the attic. It's real.
The letter. I'm sorry, I didn't know.
Careless, I've been so careless. How do I even tell them without looking like I've gone mad? Should I even tell them? To Rose? Show it to Rose, sure. I blurred out before I could think twice about what I'm gonna say.
We need to get out of here. This place is cursed.
Rose casts a nervous glance at the people in the room. Most are still engaged in conversation with their peers, but those curious enough to turn their heads in our group's direction have been given her trademark saleswoman's smile. A tight expression on her face when she pulls me aside. I said tell her, not fucking everyone.
Isabella, we've already had a conversation about this weeks ago. Those are just stories.
And I'm telling you that it's not. I saw something in there. It's not human at all. I thought it was just nothing, but isn't this letter proof enough?
She gently reaches out to pluck the paper off my hand. Without even taking a glance at it, she folds it back neatly.
Look, I'm really getting worried about you. I know you want to see this open house through, but your condition is more important.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Give me a few minutes to wrap things up here, and I'll drive you to the nearest hospital.
No! You don't understand! There isn't a condition, Rose. No concussion at all. I'm fine. But this place isn't, and you're being stubborn about it.
Before Rose could open her mouth for a retort, A hand lay on both our shoulders, pulling the two of us a distance closer.
Now, ladies, what seems to be the problem here?
Nothing, sir. I just had to clarify a few things with my colleague.
Well, it certainly seems intense. A smile fits the two of you better, in my opinion. Especially darling little Lily here.
He gives my shoulder a gentle squeeze, while an inscrutable smile spreads across his face. You're a creepo,
It's Isabella, sir.
Of course. But my point still stands. And with two beautiful ladies here, I'm sure.
And I'm sure little Lily here would certainly appreciate it if you remove your pretty hands from her, darling.
The pressure on my shoulder lifts as soon as the words leave his wife's lips, while the scowl on her face is like a splash of cold water on me. It's also impossible to miss the displeased frown on Miss McCullough's face. The realization that we might lose the sale because of my outburst instantly dawns on me. Rose will be beyond pissed.
I think I need to step out for a while. I'll be back.
When I said tell Rose, I didn't mean yell it out in the room full of people. Bowing my head, I mutter a quick apology and gather my stuff to make a quick exit. It doesn't matter if this place is haunted or not, I've caused enough trouble, and Rose can be quite unforgiving of behavior like this. I'm almost at the door when she catches up to me.
Isabella, wait!
The apprehension must have been quite obvious on my face because her expression instantly shifts to something gentler, eyes softer, a fond smile spreading on her lips.
Hey, I'm not angry.
I know. I'm sorry I ruined this for you.
Come on, you didn't ruin anything. It's not like we haven't ran into any problems before. If we don't get a deal today, we can always try on a different day. And look.
She hesitates, completely trailing off, before shifting her gaze down to her hands, a small gesture to stall. Her fingers are fiddling with a piece of folded paper. It's that stupid letter again. My hands stiffen when she gives it back, but I take it nevertheless, more as an automatic response than any desire to have it back. I'll throw it away if I can. But I have this nagging feeling that one way or another, it'll find its way back to me regardless of what I do about it.
Rose, this is... You have to let them know about...
I know you want us to get this sale so badly. And we've made a lot of plans on how to go about this. I mean, who wouldn't? This is the first time I've been assigned to a property like this. I've sold plenty of houses before, but nothing like what we have here. It's a beautiful house. I'd love to get one of my own if I ever win the lottery. But I think... Look, here's the thing, Isabella. If we are going to do this, work on something, I don't know, this big, I need you in top shape. And the way you are now...
My mind stops.
What? Wait. No, I can still work. I just need to get myself together.
That's what you said earlier. I let it go because I thought, hey, it's your own body and you should know more than anyone how you feel. But after this, I really think you should take a break.
You're kicking me out?
No, I'm not. Look, all I'm asking is for you to take a seat somewhere I can see you, and let me handle this for now. You're clearly not yourself, and I honestly could use some time not worrying when you'll fall over or not. The day's not even over, and I'm already feeling the stress. Please, humor me just this once.
She clasps her hands together in front of her, eyes pleading for understanding. And I do understand, to some extent. That doesn't mean I feel any less awful. Whether at myself, at the unlucky turn the situation has taken, or for her, I don't really know.
I promise I'll give you a full report of what happens after. I'll even let you take the lead tomorrow.
Fine. Okay. I'll step aside for now.
You're upset.
A little, yeah, obviously.
If it's any consolation, I won't tell the boss about today. You know how he is.
Please don't. I don't want a repeat of the lecture I got during my first assignment.
So we tend to be a routine screw-up then.
He called me a noob, and I don't even know what that means.
At the memory, we both burst into helpless giggles, earning us strange looks from the guests milling about the door. Talking and laughing like this, it's easy to forget any mishaps that happened. Little things you learn to appreciate, I guess.
So, are we good?
I'm still not okay with it, but... Rose has a point. It's better for me to step out of this one for now.
I won't be able to help you anyways if I keep getting distracted like this. Maybe I'll just take a walk outside or something while I wait for you to wrap things up.
Please, just stay put. I insist.
I'm not an invalid, Rose.
You clearly have not seen how you looked earlier.
It's not that bad.
Color hasn't even returned to your cheeks yet. Just stay here, all right? Don't even think of going anywhere. Let me finish what I'm doing here, and then I'll take you back to Luxembourg myself to have that minor bump checked. At least wait for me to call someone who'll fetch you, okay?
Okay. She's gone before I can voice another word of complaint. Left with nothing else to do, I find myself drifting back to the foyer. A few visitors linger in the area, some merely enjoying the afternoon sunlight streaming through the stained glass windows. Others can be seen admiring the priceless antiques decorating the room. One group of elderlies gathered some way across from me is occupied in a friendly banter about which one would cost more to buy. A little argument here and occasional laughter and teasing there. I smile to myself. The conversation reminds me of what I've been missing these past few months. Rose is probably right, I do need a break. Maybe this afternoon's hangout will help. Speaking of, I should call Ash. It's a few hours early from what I told him, but he did ask for me to call him once I'm done. Besides, I don't have a ride back. He offered, so I might as well take it. Or bribe him into giving me one. Not that he'll ever accept the latter. Personal convictions and all. Honestly, if there's something I find admirable in him, despite his tendency to annoy the hell out of me, it's that. Well, whatever way works, a free ride is still a free ride. There's Rose's offer too, but despite what she says, I know she'll be busy for the rest of the afternoon, especially without me assisting. Bothering her for a favour as small as this is the last thing I want to do right now. A couple of minutes and a few prayers asking for decent signal later, the call finally connects and...
Shit! Ash from Deluxe City.
What?
Shit,
how loud is this thing even?
A sharp ringing fills the entire hall, disrupting the pleasant quiet that has settled. Soon enough, heads begin to turn in search of the source, mine included. My eyes dart around the small crowd before zeroing in on a lone figure crouched behind the same group of old people checking the decor moments ago. He's facing away from me, fumbling with something in his hands. But I don't need to see his face to know whose back it is. Oh, I'd recognize that dumb Parker anyway. Without bothering to end the call, I march towards him. After what happened today, I'm really not in the mood to deal with
All
this.
the times to...
Ashton Frey!
What happens next is something I'd surely regret later for having not recorded. He jumps, lets out an undignified yelp, followed by his phone slipping from his grip. It bounces from one hand to the other in a poor attempt to catch it before ultimately falling flat on the floor with a resounding clack. Kinda feel sorry for the phone. And the floor. But it's not the floor's probably worth a shitload of money. Probably more than the phone. Even that little bit of it. But it's not every day that you can catch someone like Ash off guard and get a reaction. Damn his stupid detective senses. I take every ounce of victory I can get, no matter how small. Ha! An awkward pause passes between us. A blink. A cough. He makes a face. And then, in a too quick motion, he ducks and retrieves his abused gadget, while a grin threatens to break out from my lips. He doesn't meet my eyes when he straightens, but a flush has crept up his neck and in his cheeks. In another universe, where we hadn't known each other for 5 years and suffered through his teasing isn't a daily, day-to-day occurrence, chances are I'd find that adorable. Endearing, even. Unfortunately, this isn't that kind of world. The way things are, I'm really content to see him out of his obnoxiously calm and collected disposition.
Hello to you too, scaredy cat. I could stand to be greeted like a normal person, you know.
I like how his name is Ashhole automatically.
What? And miss that look on your face? No way. Oh man, I should have taken a picture.
I am so honored you find this funny. Is that how you treat your guests? I think I need to talk to your supervisor.
Are you gonna buy this place, are you?
Talk to yourself. You aren't even a guest here. What are you doing here in the first place?
For a moment he looks like a cat that swallowed the canary. Suddenly checking every nook and cranny in his phone for damage or scratches. Seems to be more interesting activity than explaining himself.
Ash.
I could be looking to buy a house.
Yeah,
A
okay.
mansion?
Yeah, why not? Did you see the view outside? It doesn't look haunted to me at all.
He's messing with me.
Ashton, I am not in the mood. What are you doing here?
He chances a glimpse at some point behind me. The parlor? Curious, I follow his gaze, but before I can figure out what's caught his attention, he places a hand on my shoulder and turns me back to face
I just
him.
finished working on something, so I dropped by.
I still don't see how this work has anything to do with why he's here. In my confused look, he drops his hand resting on my arm, like he's touched something particularly hot, and casually rubs the back of his neck.
And I said I'll see if I can pick you up. Turns out I can. free time and all. So here I am. Figured you'd still be busy, and so I roamed around for a while.
Oh, you should have mentioned that sooner. I was about to throw you out.
Throw me? Hey, I was given a pamphlet. I think that makes me a legitimate client.
I want to see your bank balance, and then I'll tell you if you're a legitimate client.
We have mandatory sign-in sheets for clients, Ash. I didn't see your name on it. And you can't just roam around because it says open house. Normal people actually follow an etiquette here.
Right, okay. I think I'll just go ahead and...
No, wait. I wasn't really going to throw you out. Rose said... Never mind. I was just about to leave anyway.
Wait, what? Now?
Something must have shone in my face because he pauses and gives me a long, hard stare. Sometimes I forget how easy reading people is for Ash, given how he often looks as if everything around him is a chore. I avoid his eyes, hoping he'll drop the subject and won't ask any more questions. The last thing I want is to tell him what happened, especially the part about the letter. In fact, he's the last person on Earth I'll ever think about telling it to, if I can help it. Sure, he's a dependable guy. God knows how many times he's helped me, even without me asking for it. But stuff like ghosts and the supernatural? He'll never believe those, even if he hears it from a friend. Except maybe if it's Becca. On a good day, the most harmless thing he'll do is give you an explanation why those things have no chance of ever being real. At worst, he's insufferable. He'll poke fun at you at every single chance he'll get. Asshole. What did I ever do to him? He never does this to Becca or Zach. I think he likes you. It's schoolyard rules. I can already imagine how things will go down the moment I spill a word of what I saw. Nope, over my dead body. Before it catches his attention, I shove the letter deep into my bag.
What's wrong?
Nothing. Let's just go.
Doesn't look like a nothing to me.
We still have Zach's movie tonight, remember?
It's still early. And didn't you say your shift will end around 5 or 6? What about... Hey, Isabella, wait up!
Bye. A rush of air greets me as soon as the main door opens. Not the usual autumn draft, but it's still a welcome change from the stifling atmosphere inside the mansion. Ash's footsteps are quick behind me, the soles of his shoes thumping hard against the polished concrete in an awkward cadence as he rushes to catch up. He calls out once, twice. The mansion still looms in the background, whispers calling me back, shadows beckoning. Help me. I don't look back. We spend the ride back to Luxbourne City in a relatively quiet manner, with only the radio's disjointed hum in the background to fill the silence. Occasionally Ash will reach out to fiddle with it until the signal settles or it's on a respectable volume, but otherwise he doesn't say anything. Why have we got elevator music in this car? Neither do I. However, if the furtive glance he's been sending my ways are signs, I know there are things that he's been itching to ask since we left the mansion. I keep my eyes trained on the passing scenery outside, in the small hope that my disinterest will dissuade him.
Here.
All of a sudden he tosses something at me from a small compartment on his side. It hits me clean on the chin before I can make a move to catch it. The small package makes a soft landing on my lap instead.
Sorry.
The glare I send him wipes the smirk about to form cleanly off his face. He clears his throat, focusing his eyes on the road again. I swear he did that on purpose. Ignoring him, I flip the half-forgotten package on my lap.
I won't say no to free food, but why are you giving away cereal bars?
I always have one on my person, and you look like you're about to pass out back there. Have you eaten lunch yet?
I don't even get a chance to deny it, because right on cue my stomach rumbles loudly and an empty, gnawing feeling in my belly becomes noticeable. No surprise there, I did skip breakfast and lunch so I could catch Becca while she was still on break. I was hoping to get a small meal after. I guess with everything going on I just forgot until Ash mentioned it. It's not like the hollow feeling's new to me though. If anything, it's just one of those things I've gotten used to ignoring over the years, growing up. Thanks. Thanks. Then I tear open the package and start nibbling on the edge of the bar. Apart from the acknowledging nod, Ash doesn't say anything after the small exchange. For that I'm thankful. After getting an earful from both Becca and Rose, it's nice to be able to just sit down with someone who's not gonna nag at you.
How'd the open house go?
The usual. We got a bigger crowd than normal because of the property's fame, but really, no different from the typical open house. On second thought, it actually looks like a fancy party more than an open house. I've never felt so underdressed in my life. Weren't you there?
I wasn't really listening.
I should have asked someone to kick you out.
No, you won't.
And what makes you so sure?
One, ever since you got assigned to this property, you've been freaking out about it. Rebecca's words, not mine. She's been complaining to me about how you talked your ears off, by the way. Two, despite your initial qualms about the place, you still took the job. Which brings us to three. It's been months since you last settled a deal, and you're short on money right now since you're back to your instant noodle diet.
How'd you even know about the last one?
Becca probably told her.
Rebecca.
Yeah.
Anyhow, you're hell-bent on selling the mansion. Even if someone you know personally is in the tour group, you aren't going to just kick them out. Every single person who went on your open house is still a prospective client to you. Even me.
No, not you. He's not entirely wrong. Oh man, I walked right into that one, didn't I?
I hate you. I really hate you right now.
His answer is a small laugh, the kind that screams, I'm right, I told you so. I hate it when he does
I'll
that.
have you know that there's already someone who's extremely interested in this property. So even if you expressed any sort of interest in it, I don't think they'd be willing to let you have it. Too bad.
Provided I didn't botch it with the rights. Ma'am Hannah in particular didn't look too pleased with what I did. I owe Rose a big apology. I hope she likes free donuts.
You don't seem too happy about it.
I am happy. Doesn't this look like a happy face to you?
This is my happy face.
Really? And here I was thinking you found another one stuffed in the sofa. Or is it the wardrobe this time?
Oh god. He meant that as a joke, but how close it is to the truth made my blood run cold and my own heartbeat a heavy weight in my chest. All at once, the letter in my bag feels a whole lot heavier, burdened by my own guilt and apprehension.
Yeah, well, things happened. Stuff the right couple might not be pleased about. No need to make a fuss about it. It's normal in the business.
The business.
You made them angry?
Not angry, just stuff happened.
Like?
Things.
Did they do anything? Your clients, the rights, was it?
I can't answer that. At least, not without revealing everything that took place in the attic. Alright, we're gonna wrap this one up because we're out of time for today. No horror-y stuff this time, so I didn't even have to brace myself. I'm gonna stay braced though. Gonna tighten that sphincter. We're gonna be ready for the next one, so I don't shit my pants. Anyway, hopefully the next one goes well. I feel like the choice I made just before, I shouldn't have told Rose at all. I thought we were just gonna tell Rose, not everyone. We told everyone. That was really bad. But whatever, next time we come through we can make a different choice. But until then, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.